It's tabletop time! I'm Murray.
And I'm Jen, and in a previous video, I painted a dragon.
You did?
Yes, and you weren't invited, unfortunately.
I was not.
But today's sponsor, the Dragon Trappers Lodge, has some really cool models, and we're gonna be painting some pretty awesome stuff today.
It's time to paint some dragons.
It's gonna be cooler than a dragon though, and you guys can come see. Let's go have a look.
It's cooler than a dragon.
When it came to deciding what model I was going to build from this set, I couldn't look past the Cerberus model. So Dave has gone ahead and printed out my model for me, and it's looking pretty good. I do need to remove the supports, and I also need to cure these. But for some reason, I've got 4 of Cerberus's heads here, when, as far as I remember, he only has 3 heads. That's okay, I have a feeling that maybe one of these are just an extra, or perhaps one of them has a defect. But the more the merrier when it comes to 3D printing, you never know what's gonna happen. So I'm gonna put all of these in the wash, cure them, and then we can move on to painting. So let's go. Cerberus is all printed, washed, cured, and ready to go. So now I've got to assemble him and glue him all together. And there's a couple of other pieces I seem to have missed, but I've cured them as well. Yeah, it's time to build him, and then we can move on to painting. Not only is the Cerberus from Greek mythology, which is really friggin' cool, it also has a range of different heads, and it was really hard to choose. There's so many cool ones here. The poodle is absolutely hilarious, and I love it. I decided on this version because this is how I kind of see Cerberus, or how I imagine he would look if he was real. But I think it's so cool that you have a ton of different options, and you can even pick your favorite doggo to be Cerberus. That's pretty sick.
All right, I've got my 2 little characters, and the blink dog, I think I'm gonna paint sort of just like a wolf, that sort of shaggy gray with this sort of tipped to black sort of along the edges. I think that'd be really cool because then I get the full effect of basically the magical portal spilling out in lurid color behind him, and a bit of that color spilling onto him in some object source lighting. And then we've got the little archer. I'm gonna paint him, I think, a little bit like Robin Hood. We're gonna have some green trousers, sort of a white tunic, and then a full blue cloak, not a full bloom cloak. And I think that'll look really, really cool. For his fur, I'll keep that strong brown color. That'll go really well with everything else. So, I think it's time to get started and just put some colors down. It's time to paint some dogs. Let's go. Let's go. Paint. Here. Yes. Haha. Dogs. When I had my choice of which characters from this range to paint, I immediately went for this archer. I just really love the sculpt and the pose, it's fantastic. And I had this real Robin Hood vibe from this, so I decided to paint it as much. I went for nice sort of green slacks. I'm going for basically a white shirt and a white tunic. Then I sort of realized that I had a bit of a dilemma because I was going to have lots of leathers, nice brown leathers, which is more or less very similar to how I was going to paint the fur itself. So I had to think about if I wanted to delineate from that a little bit, and I ended up deciding that I'd do a sort of charcoal grey black fur instead, just keeping it some of the browns around for a bit of nuance. So as you can see, I basically went in with an idea and was flexible enough that I could just sort of make changes as I was going, depending on how the rest of the model ended up.
It's kind of interesting. I feel like this model could also have come from a Disney movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I could see him starring in his own movie, which is really interesting comparing the 2 models together that we did.
Yeah, it ended up nice and bold. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it would be quite a tone there. Here we have the cloak. Now that I've done sort of the biggest areas, the tunic, the trousers and the big flowing cape. That sort of gives me a good idea for the values, and I'm going to go and do the skin now and really make that stand out. I feel that putting down the base values around the biggest areas really helps you establish how you want the end piece to look out. That's also one of the reasons why I do that sort of aerosol spray with all the colors. I don't always end up using all those colors in the final thing, but I like to be able to see sort of where everything sits. So I'm down to basically the final highlights on this model, the part where everything starts to come together, and I can sort of play with the balance of all the colors. You know, something's a bit bright, I can move it around or whatever. So I'm gonna go through, do all the metal, and that'll help the black fur sort of move down a bit. At the moment it's one of the brighter colors, so that'll help adjust that to look more like a black. So I'm gonna go in and do all that, and we'll see how it looks then. Jen, do you like dragons?
I sure do, and I like today's sponsor,
The Dragon Trappers Lodge.
an amazing Patreon, creating 3D printing miniatures for your RPGs and tabletop wargaming.
The Dragon Trappers Lodge feature fully playable one-shots to go with their models. This includes printable maps, stat blocks, and so much more.
They feature a stunning and unique range of models to bring your world to life.
Every month, the Dragon Trappers Lodge releases 2 tiers for you to choose from.
Trapper tier, which is for those who love RPGs, completely compatible with 5e.
The second tier, Soldier tier, is for those who love wargaming. For those that want playable armies and are compatible with one-page rules. Both these tiers start at $12 per month. Or perhaps you want the best of both worlds and you can join their Veteran tier, which is both tiers combined for $18 a month.
Let's talk about some of the releases that they have for this month. The first being Doggos and Dragons, which is some of the models that we're painting up today. If you're a doggo lover like myself, you're sure to love this collection. One of my favorites in this collection is the Cerberus I'm painting today. Also, special mention to this awesome looking bulldog hydra, and I'm absolutely in love with this luck dragon as well. We also printed this little guy out in studio and he looks absolutely awesome. The other set for this month is the Fiends of Incadriox. There's some really cool Dragonborn knights in this set and an absolutely epic dragon to go along with it. Fiends of Incadriox is also their own fully playable one-page rules army. It has its own unique army book and is available on the Army Forge app.
This month, Dragon Trappers Lodge is offering a 7-day free trial, allowing you to choose between the 2 tiers and have complete access to one of them.
All the links are down in the description below so you can check them out. We've got some doggos to paint.
Oh yeah.
Let's go.
So I'm all done gluing together my little Cerberus. I've also done a little bit of gap filling just to make sure everything is nice, neat, and tidy. So when it comes to painting Cerberus, I have a few ideas. I think I want to kind of base it on the Hercules Cerberus, which is more of a like purpley sort of bluey color, but then I think I want to take inspiration from Hades and actually give him blue flames. So I'm going to go for more of a purpley deep blue sort of body and fur, and then have the skulls and the blue flames on top. So I'm going to go and airbrush him with a black primer and then start working in some of that glow effects and then move on to hand painting. So let's do it.
So to start things off, I went ahead and just sprayed down a base primer for my model, using black this time as a color to start with.
Yeah, so you've gone for the airbrush to start off with, and I went for aerosols.
Yeah, so on the day that I was airbrushing, it was an absolutely awful day. Not only was it freezing cold, it was also raining outside. So I was stuck to be inside. I had no choice. So I popped out the airbrush and I thought that this would be a very quick solution.
Yeah, a bit of behind the scenes. We started on different days, but then we did the bulk of our work together in the next day.
I also knew I wanted to go into different hues of purples and blues when deciding on the colours of Cerberus, so using the airbrush was kind of a no-brainer for me.
I have gone ahead and started making my base for my little Cerberus. This is the oval base that's used for Warhammer. It actually kind of fits on this really well, so I thought I'd just use that to put some texture paste on it, as well as some little rocks, and there's even like a little gladiator head as well, which I thought was pretty themey. So I'm leaving that to dry, otherwise I'm just painting up Cerberus, and I've moved on to the flames, which I'm making blue. And yeah, I'm just gonna keep painting him, and then he'll be done.
So Murray has kind of gotten me onto these broken anvil paints, and I have to say, I actually really love the pigmentation of these paints.
Yeah?
I think the purples in particular are absolutely gorgeous. They have a range of sort of pinks and just standard purples that draw my eye completely and I thought would be really good for this picture.
I think that would be perfect Hellhound Cerberus of the underworld.
Not gonna lie, I also tried to sort of keep it in a Disney theme, working more towards brighter colours and sort of keeping it PG, I suppose. This thing's pretty gnarly when you look at it a bit closer, so I kind of wanted to make it, I don't know, more flowery and pretty. So I went ahead and worked on the different sections of Cerberus. I'd already sort of mapped out the colours and where I wanted them to go, but needed to do some layer painting, starting off with the body and just working in some of those muscly areas. I then moved on to the flames that are coming out of his head and body and just established this a bit more with proper light source. Once this was done, I moved on to the skulls and the more fleshy tones of his body, incorporating different colours such as pink and creams into the skulls. Once I was happy with how everything was looking, I went over with a final line highlight just to make everything nice and crispy. And I was pretty much done.
Hey Murray,
What's up?
what's your favourite doggo?
I think it's definitely this blink dog.
I'm in.
You mean real dog?
Real dog.
This is real dog to me. I think I'm actually going to go out and just say I really like wolves. In terms of domestic dogs, anything that comes close to the appearance of wolves, which is apparently a thing, I've looked into it, dog to
Yeah,
me.
you get like huskies that are like hot mixed with
Yeah,
and stuff.
yeah, there's names for them, which of course I've completely forgotten. Big dog, like
Yeah.
big dog. How about you?
I also love big dogs. I'm not a little dog person. All animals are amazing, but I love
Yeah.
big dogs. I want to be able to hug them. But I have a few favorites. I don't have one. I love golden retrievers because they're so happy all the time, and I love that they like can show that expression on their face.
had a golden retriever. They're
Aw,
insane.
they're so cute. Merton Bernese dogs, so they're the big like ones that you see in the snow with like the little barrel on their
Yeah.
neck. My ultimate favorite dog that I would never be able to own is a chow chow. So they're the really big fluffy ones, and in
Oh,
in like China, kind of seen as like these golden lions, and that's kind of how they're bred, as well as these huge dogs. Yeah, I think they're amazing, but they're a lot of work and they drool all the time.
Post your favorite dog in the comments below. I think that'd be fun to read, actually.
Dave,
It is I.
hi. Mari and I want to know what your favorite doggo is.
My favourite dog.
Yeah.
All dogs.
What's your favorite?
Like favourite breed of dog?
Yeah, correct.
This is an impossible question. How can you make me choose one dog? I love a lot of dogs.
I picked 3, so you can pick as many as you want.
Okay, well, I love medium to large sized dogs from Australian working dogs like Kelpies and Blue Heelers, Border Collies, Labradors, and then bigger dogs like Huskies and German Shepherds, gorgeous dogs with big pointy ears up top. Yep.
Cool, now you've answered the question. I'd like to point out that we basically said the same kinds of dogs.
Yay, team big dog.
They're the best! I love them! Oh, that's awesome.
I've basically finished our little dog archer. Base drawing, there's, the rim of the base dude, maybe some plants, but at the moment he's happy sitting there, and I've just taken the colour of the base, and I've just done the start of the wolf here, the blink dog. And since I'm going to be basically doing a huge object light source effect here, I think it's helpful to have the base already basically done so you can just put that effect on there. And so I'm just going to go with a nice strong bluey purple that's going to wash over most of the dog. I'm going to start with the big effect. As I sort of finish that, I'll paint the other side of the dog, in the shadow where the light isn't hitting, and I think it will have a really cool effect.
With all the blending and oversprays from the aerosols, I had all these really nice red stuck in the recesses of the warp effect, which I'm actually going to keep. I think that looks really cool, and if anything, I'm going to try and emphasize it a bit with just a touch more strong red. Then after that, I'm going to lean straight into blues, mixing in some different colours just for some funky warpy variants, as I highlight all the way up to an icy blue and start spilling out all those colours onto the dog's fur itself to lend to that object light sourcing effect.
Alright, now that I'm finished with the glowing effect, now it's time to move on to the shadows that are being cast by this glowing effect, which is basically just the other side of the wolf. So I'm going to go in with some darker colours. Basically, I've done all the highlighting on the model, now I'm going to do the shading. And that's just how I'm going to treat this side of the model. And then once I've done that, just the final highlights of the natural colour of the fur on that side. And I think that'll be done.
In terms of colours for this dog, I decided to stay with a more lupine feral grey that you'd find on a wolf. I think that would be quite suitable considering it's actually a monster that players would face and trying to defeat.
And with that, I think we're all done.
Yes, we are!
I think it's time for some pawsome reveals.
A huge shout out to our patrons. It is you that allow us to do cool projects like this. Without your support, we wouldn't be able to paint any more dogs, and no one wants that. If you're interested in becoming one of our patrons, consider clicking the link below, where you get access to our patron Discord, where all manner of hobbyists discuss their own talents, preferences, and even what they're working on currently, which also can give you access to our monthly mini review, where we get to check out and offer some friendly criticism of our viewers' submissions.
And if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps us out and lets us know that you like videos like this one.
Hey, he's got 4 heads now.
Hey!
Awesome. So we're done.
Yes. I really enjoyed painting this. I think we've been painting a lot of like space marines and humanoid characters, but I really enjoyed painting some dogs for a change.
Yeah, a bit of fantasy is always fun, just sort of that magical aspect. This little portal was a lot of fun. Maybe a little ranger, but yeah, I think that the 3-headed dogs that are all on magical fire, that takes the cake.
So a huge thank you to Dragon Trappers Lodge for sponsoring this video, and if you'd like to get some of these really cool minis for yourself, please check them out. All the links will be down in the description below.
Down there.
Yep, just down.
Down there,
Yeah.
in the underworld,
you can
where
click.
Cerberus lives.
Yeah, you can click there now, because the video is over, so
It's over. We'll wait for you to leave.
yeah. See you next one. Bye.
They're still here.
Yeah, so you having dinner?
I don't know, I'm too nervous. They keep looking at me.
Yeah, I don't know why they keep staring. I'm gonna go.
Okay.